Today, I'm revealing the top 10 most undervalued Pokemon cards in the Scarlet and Violet era in 2025. Prices for single cards skyrocketed, but now they're starting to cool off and fall back down to earth. However, not all the cards really went to the moon, and some of them never really did anything. All the cards I'm going to show you today are the most undervalued, disrespected Pokemon cards we have out right now. How it's going to work, guys, is I'm going to be showing you guys my top 10 like I normally do with the current price, the price that the cards were at 3 months ago, the PSA 10 price, and its population count. But I'm also going to give you guys my projected price where these cards should be, where they feel like they should be compared to other cards, and just in general my overall thoughts of the card. And I'm also going to talk about how some of these cards, something just doesn't feel right about the price. Like some of these real big cards that feel a lot bigger than what they actually are perceived as, and why they're so low on the totem pole. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about all that. Let's jump into number 10. At number 10, we have the Articuno IR from Journey Together. The Frozen Birds coming in at $24.52. At its release, it was sitting at $99, which seems a little crazy. And a PSA 10 is coming in at $300 with no population count. So for this card, for me, so the reason why this is number 10 is, of course, it's $24.52. And I feel, it feels like this is bare minimum a $50 card. So the difference on that is about $25.48. So that's where we came up with that. That's how we end up at number 10, because remember, this is going to be all in the price difference of what it is and where it should be. This one, I don't know if it's just because Journey Together as a whole has gotten so much, I don't want to say hate, but I guess it is hate really. And it's just kind of pushed this card down. Obviously, we've seen some other cards, many cards go down in value as well. But it feels like this one is just because it's a part of Journey Together. Like if this card was in Surging Sparks, would it be a $25 card? I have a hard time believing it would. I think it is closer to $50. That's just where I feel like the realistic value of this card is $50. At number 9, we have the Skeledirge SIR from Paldea Evolved. And my favorite fire starter of all time is coming in at $22.82. So again, absolutely slaughtered. 3 months ago, this bad boy is coming in at $23.05. And a PSA 10 is where it's really getting disrespected. It's coming in at $78 with a population count of 2,033. So for this one, I did say this is my favorite fire starter, but whenever I do this, I try to put as much bias as way as I can. There's another card that's on this top 10 that I'm sure people who know me are gonna be like, no, he definitely just put that one on there because it's that. But you know, it is what it is. I'll take it. I'm trying to not be biased here. But with it coming in at $22.82, realistically, this is another one that I feel like should be a $50 card. I mean, that puts the difference at $27.18. Again, this SIR, for one, it is phenomenal. It plays into the story of all of the Fuecoco and the Crocalore, as the other starters do, of course. I just feel like this card gets so disrespected, and honestly, all the SIRs in Paldea Evolved do, which if you really take a step back and it's like, man, if these SIRs from Paldea Evolved, if they become the price, what a lot of people, myself included, think they should be, that set is low-key, like, maybe the best regular set in the entire series. When you put in all the IRs and the SIRs, like, Paldea Evolved is really strong, man. I really think that, I know it's a really popular set. I know you can't, but man, that's one to keep an eye on. And I think that that one is going to pop off pretty good. And I think that eventually these SIRs are going to catch up. At number 8, we have the Latios IR from Surging Sparks. The Latios is coming in at $28.37. 3 months ago, it was coming in at $41.64. And a PSA 10, this is interesting that it still doesn't have a pop count on this card because it's been out since November. So that's kind of interesting, but this is kind of shocking. It's only a $150 card, which I feel like, yes, that is a good value for what it is. Man, this thing has gotten, honestly, it feels like it could be $250 easy, but you know, that's just, we'll talk. So the Latios, like I said, it is coming in at $28.37. Realistically, I think this is a $60 card all day long with a $31.63 difference. And of course, I came up with the $60 just by looking at other IRs and relative to their popularity of the Pokemon. I get that playability and all that is also a factor, but for the sake of just the collector standpoint, I'm not going to play in with the playability. I understand that that does have a a pretty significant influence on price sometimes. So I just want to give that out. But the Latios, again, and it's the matching card with the Latias. And obviously the Latias too, honestly, I thought about putting that one on this list too, because I feel like it's still kind of undervalued low key. A lot of the bigger cards that have dropped, a lot of them are really good buys right now. But the Latios in particular, coming in at $28, that's pretty surprising to see this card. And I think the biggest thing is the PSA price. If the PSA price was a lot higher, say it was the $250 mark, I think this is a $60 card easy. And I'm just kind of surprised to see these numbers on these cards, because these are all fantastic cards. The ones that we've looked at so far are all relatively popular. You could say Skeledirge isn't the most popular, but from my genuine viewing and just being in the space, it seems like Skeledirge is the most popular of the 3 starters in the new gen. It's just kind of surprising that these cards are where they are. But yeah, to me, this is a $60 card, $250 and a 10 even, so I don't know. At number 7, we have the Blastoise SIR from Pokemon 151. The Blasty Boys coming in at $66.51. 3 months ago, it was sitting at $81.94. In a PSA 10, this thing is doing pretty well in the 10. It's coming in at $300 with a population count of 10,462. So that is quite large there. This is the one that I was telling you that everybody that knows me is instantly gonna be like, he definitely just put this up here. Yes, Blastoise is 1, 2, depending on the day of my favorite Pokemon. But I really believe that this card is super undervalued, underrated, doesn't get talked about enough. I mean, the fact that this card is $66 and the Raging Bolt is $82 is just mind blowing to me. And so here's where I came up with this. I honestly think that this is a $100 card. This is a $100 SIR. That is a difference of $31.63 from its current price of $66.51. To me, this is a $100 card, and maybe it's a good thing that it's not, because maybe 151 would be even more, like it was, I guess 3 months ago when this was an $80 card. So I don't know. It's just something to keep an eye on. Again, this thing is super undervalued. At number 6, we have the Groudon IR from Paradox Rift. So the Groudon is coming in at $73.30. 3 months ago, though, it was coming in at $101.31. And a PSA 10, this thing is thriving, coming in at $332 with a population count of 3,129. So the Groudon for me, in my personal opinion, first off, this might be my favorite card in it's up there as far as my favorite cards in the entire era. This card is sick. Honestly, it might be my favorite Groudon card ever. It's just got that such a Team Magma kind of vibe. And not Gen 3 is my favorite gen. Those games are my favorite games. So I guess you could say this one's kind of biased too. But I swear it's not. I swear it's not. Just hear me out. So the Groudon coming in at $73.30. This thing, why is this not a $115 card? First off, this thing was disrespected forever. Now the top card on this list is the most disrespected card of the entire era. But this one is up there as well, because it's set stagnant around like $40 forever. And now it did move up, and I think it even touched 100 at one point. I know it got up to at least 90 when I checked it at one point. 115 for sure. That is a $41.70 difference. I just don't see how you can say some of these cards are worth this, but this one's only worth 70. It doesn't make no sense to me. This thing to me is a $115 card all day long. At number 5, we have the Charizard SIR from Obsidian Flames. The Zardy Boys coming in at $54.69. Giggity. But 3 months ago, it was $67.87, sorry. And a PSA 10, this thing is doing very well, coming in at $361 with a population count of 8,400. So, as you can see, I'm not a Charizard guy, but I put him in here and he's top 5, so you know, you can say what you want about the bias with the Blastoise, but the Zard, to me, is one of the most disrespected cards in the era. It really is kind of crazy. I understand it's not everyone's favorite artwork. I feel like this picture here doesn't do it justice, because seeing this card in real life, everything shining and all that, it is a phenomenal card. And you know, Obsidian Flames is like $230 a booster box or something crazy. It's like, why? There's nothing in there. This card here is a freaking sub $60. But anyway, my price point for this is a $100 card, which puts the difference at $45.31. I do not see how this card is not $100. Every Charizard card we have is always at $100. I just don't see how this one's not, and I think that this is going to be one of those cards here in a few months, or whenever it happens, whenever this next pop happens and this card goes to 100 plus. I think this is going to be the one where everybody's like, I had that one, dude. I mean, it doesn't make no sense. Why is this card going up? Everybody hates hates it, but it's like, dude, it's a Charizard. It's a dark Charizard. The writing is on the wall for this card to be $100. I just don't see how it has stayed this low for so long. So I think that this one is definitely undervalued. By far, disrespected. I know a lot of people don't like it, and honestly, I get it. I mean, it's my least favorite SIR Charizard of the era. That doesn't mean it's bad, and it's not, you know, it's only worth $50. I understand the market saying it is. We see this all the time. The markets get things wrong. At number 4, we had the Terapagos SIR from Stellar Crown. So my second favorite turtle is coming in at $48.52, and 3 months ago it was $83.29. In a PSA 10, this thing is coming in at a modest $200 with a population count of 3,504. So this is another one, chat, where it just blows my mind. This is one of the best SIRs in the entire era. You have one of the most popular Pokemon in the Horizon TV show, and this thing can't crack $50. And Stellar Crown is not exactly easy to find every day. It just blows my mind. So for me, I don't think it should be crazy, but again, just like the Charizard, I don't see how this is not a $100 SIR, and that would put the difference at $51.48. I just don't understand how this card is not $100. First off, this card is phenomenal. It's one of my favorite SIRs in the entire era. I think a lot of people don't like this card, but once you pull it and you see it in person, man, this thing hits different. I didn't care about this card. I don't want to say I didn't like it, but I did not care about this card until I pulled it. I'm like, damn, this thing is low-key kind of fire. For whatever reason, man, it just does not get the love that it really deserves. At number 3, we have the Miraidon SIR from Scarlet and Violet base. And Miraidon's coming in at $18.30. And 3 months ago, it was $24.83. So even in the pop, it got the $27. In a PSA 10, this thing is coming in at $116 with a population count of 2,810. I will say on this one, I went and checked because I was like, at 116, I'll buy 10 of these bad boys because I feel like this card, this is crazy. So I was like, you know what? I'll look, and if I can buy, you know, maybe not a lot of them, but if I can buy, you know, 6 or 7, I'll just go ahead and buy that many PSA 10s because it's a pretty good price. People are not selling them, have them listed at 116. They are listed for about 250 to 260. So just be aware of that. Dude, this card is insane, and it's $18. I understand it's the guaranteed in every booster box, but it doesn't matter. For one, who's paying $230, $240 for a Scarlet and Violet based booster box? And then you have to pull this. There's so many. You got the SIR trainers, you got the other SIR Pokemon. Like, you're not guaranteed to pull this card, and the fact that this thing is $18. Oh, Dios mio. So my price point on this is, how is this not a $70 card? Again, the Raging Bolt, which I have. I like that card. It is an $82 card. You're telling me that this Miraidon cannot be a $70 card? And if it were, I think eventually it will, but for whatever reason, Scarlet base sets just don't get the love. I want to go be on record before I say the difference. Scarlet and Violet base is one of the best base sets we've had in a long time, if not, I can't say ever because of base set, but it is really good. It's better than Sword and Shield base. It's better than X and Y base. Sun and Moon base is pretty good with the evolutions, but I still think I'll take this one over that because the pull rates are dreadful in Sun and Moon base. So I don't know. But anyway, the difference on this one is $51.70. So quite a bit of a difference there. I just don't see how this is an $18 card. If you think this is an $18 card, I would love to know why. I just want to know your opinion. Like, why do you think this is? At number 2, we have the Iron Valiant SIR from Paradox Rift. Iron Valiant is coming in at $22.92. And 3 months ago, though, it got all the way up to $34.00. But let's see here, $37.40 was about the, I guess, what people is calling the peak now. In a PSA 10, oh my God. I didn't even check this one, or I would have went and bought 10 of these. $89 with a population count of 1,586. So with this card, first off, $89 for this card in PSA 10 is wild. Picking on Raging Bolt, but I think it's just because, like, everyone hated Raging Bolt. I get that's the playable one. I get it. But still, even like the Walking Wake and the Gouging Fire is like $50. And everyone hated those cards. You know how much shit people were talking about those cards? And this one actually looks pretty cool. It's like a John Wick Gardevoir or something. something. It's coming in at $22.92. My price point on this was $75, and that would put it at a $52.08 difference. This should be a $75 card. It should be more than $100 in a PSA 10. It's absolutely insane. Like, part of me feels like some of these cards, the deep sea whales, like, buy the crap out of the supply slowly, and then it gets, you know, bought out or something, and it goes crazy. Because I just don't see how people don't pay premiums for these cards. Like, these are some of the best artworks we've had, and they're damn near worthless, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why. And at number 1, we have the Tyranitar IR from Paldea Evolved. My big boy is coming in at $39.48. 3 months ago, it was setting at $47.67. At the so-called peak, $51. Now, in a PSA 10, this thing is killing it, which surprised me even more on the raw price. Again, kind of goes back to like something smells fishy here. And a PSA 10 is coming in at pretty much $400 with a population count of 1,004. So relatively low pop. And honestly, if you've opened Paldea Evolved, you know the quality is absolute shite in that set. So it doesn't surprise me at all to see that. So the T-Tar here coming in at $39.48. Absolutely unbelievable. My price point for this was $100. I do not see how this card is not $100, especially now that we've seen everything. There is no Tyranitar SIR. There is no other big Tyranitar card. This is the one. How is this not a $100 card? That puts the difference at $60.52, which would be the largest of this list. That's how it ended up to be the most undervalued card in the Scarlet Violet era. And man, it kind of sucks that this list worked out this way, but a lot of these are my favorite Pokemon, and I really hope that, I like to think that I did this without bias, but if I'm looking at the list and I'm like, damn, Zach, like, you're gonna have a hard time defending this one in the comments. But I swear to you, and I think a lot of people agree, because I see a lot of comments about the Tyranitar. Anytime I open Paldea Evolved, there's 2 cards people always are like, this is what I want to pull. The Carp, obviously, for the money. And number 2 is always the Tyranitar, every single time. And it's like, why is this thing not worth that much? Every time I open Paldea Evolved, and I have opened thousands of packs, it's always Tyranitar that wants to be pulled. Sub $40. It just doesn't make it. I just don't get it. But man, again, just disrespected, undervalued. Bullshit. But you know, it is what it is. It'll get its love one day. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. A little bit different, just looking at the undervalued cards. So let me know down below what you think. What is your most undervalued cards? If you want to give me a top 10 list, feel free to do so. Remember, guys, check out PokeNotify Factory 25 at checkout to get you 25% off your first month. You do get a 3 free day trial to check it out, see if you like it. If you don't like it, you can just say, screw this, I'm good. Also, guys, remember, check us out on Drip. We have the Insta Packs. They are fantastic. The Rayquaza VMAX S or Altar, excuse me, from Evolving Skies is the top chase in a PSA 10. It is awesome, guys. Really need to check that one out. We will be live on Drip tonight. Depending on when you're watching it, it's going to come out on Saturday. We're going to be opening up some Journey together and stuff like that. So definitely make sure you check that out. I appreciate all the love and support, guys. I will see you guys in the next one. Poke Factory out. Peace.